There is a silent shift that happens inside the body somewhere around the age of 60, and it is something that almost no doctor brings up during a standard checkup. You might have noticed it in small, quiet ways during your day. Maybe you have noticed that the grocery bags feel just a little heavier when you lift them out of the trunk than they did 5 years ago. Or perhaps, when you are gardening or doing housework, your arms get tired faster, even though you don't feel like you did anything different. It is very easy to brush this off. We tell ourselves, "Oh, I'm just getting older," or "I just need to rest more." But there is a very good chance that what you are feeling isn't just normal aging. It is a biological change in how your body handles the food you eat. Specifically, your body has changed the way it listens to protein. When you were 30 or 40, you could eat a simple sandwich or a bowl of pasta, and your body was efficient enough to pull everything it needed to keep your muscles strong. But now, your body has become a little hard of hearing when it comes to those nutritional signals. This phenomenon explains why you can eat the exact same healthy diet you ate in your 50s, but still lose strength, stability, and energy in your 60s and 70s. The good news is that you don't need to become a bodybuilder, and you don't need to eat giant steaks for dinner. The solution lies in a few gentle, specific adjustments to when and how you eat. Adjustments that can turn the lights back on in your muscle tissue. In this video, we are going to walk through the science of this silent shift and give you a simple, practical roadmap to getting your strength and energy back right from your own kitchen. Understanding the factory shift. To really understand what is happening to our strength as we age, we have to look at the body like a busy factory. For most of your life, this factory was incredibly efficient. A delivery truck would show up, that's your breakfast or lunch, and the workers inside would immediately rush out, grab the materials, which we call amino acids, and start repairing the walls, the machinery, and the floors. This is how your muscles stay strong. They are constantly being repaired. In your younger years, it didn't take much to get those workers moving. A small delivery, like a single egg or a slice of toast with peanut butter, was enough to wake them up. But as we cross the threshold of 60, the workers in the factory start to slow down. They don't hear the doorbell ring as easily. This is a condition that researchers call anabolic resistance. It doesn't mean your body can't build muscle. It just means the signal needs to be louder. If you send that same small delivery truck you used to send 20 years ago, say, just a bowl of oatmeal with water, the workers inside might not even get out of their chairs. They stay sitting, and the repairs don't get done. Over weeks, months, and years, this lack of repair leads to a slow, quiet loss of muscle tissue. You don't see it happen overnight. You just wake up one day and realize that getting up from a deep sofa takes a little more momentum than it used to. This is why the old advice of just eat healthy can sometimes be misleading for seniors. You can eat a healthy diet full of vegetables and grains, which is wonderful for your heart and digestion, but still be unintentionally starving your muscle tissue because the protein signals aren't strong enough to wake up the factory. It is important to remember that muscle isn't just about looking strong. For us, muscle is our armor. It protects our hips if we fall. It regulates our blood sugar. It is the engine that burns calories so we can enjoy our food. Losing it is not just a cosmetic issue, it is a safety issue. But the fix is often not about eating more food overall, but about changing the timing and the type of the protein we choose. The tea and toast morning mistake. Let's look at the most common place where this protein signal gets missed, the breakfast table. In the United States, we have a very specific culture around breakfast. We love our coffee, our toast, our cereals, and our muffins. It is a comfort ritual. Maybe you sit by the window around 7:30 a.m. with a cup of hot coffee and a piece of toast with jam. It is peaceful, it is light, and it feels like the right way to start the day. But from a biological perspective, after sleeping for 8 or 9 hours, your body is in a state of deep need. You haven't eaten all night, so your body has been breaking down tiny bits of your own muscle tissue to keep your blood sugar stable while you dream. When you wake up, your body is desperate for a strong signal to stop that breakdown and start rebuilding. This is where the tea and toast breakfast falls short. It provides energy, yes, but it doesn't provide the building blocks to flip the switch from breakdown to buildup. Remember our factory workers? A piece of toast is like a whisper to them. They sleep right through it. To wake them up, especially after age 60, you need to hit a specific number. Science suggests that seniors need about 25 to 30 grams of protein in that morning meal to fully activate the muscle repair process. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of numbers, but let's translate that into real food. One egg is about 6 grams. So, if you have one egg in toast, you are only at about 8 or 10 grams. The workers are still sleeping. To get to that magic number where the repair starts, you might need to think differently. It could be 3 eggs, or perhaps a cup of Greek yogurt, which is very dense in protein, mixed with some nuts. It could be adding a scoop of protein powder to your oatmeal. By making this one change, shifting your protein intake from the evening to the morning, you are protecting your muscle mass for the rest of the day. You are essentially putting on your armor before you walk out the door. The ignition key, amino acid. But there is something else worth knowing, something that goes a little deeper than just counting grams of protein. Not all proteins are created equal when it comes to senior health. Imagine you have a car. You can fill the tank with gas, but if you don't turn the key in the ignition, the car isn't going anywhere. In the world of protein, there is a specific amino acid called leucine that acts exactly like that ignition key. It is the specific nutrient that tells your muscle biology. Okay, start building now. As we get older, our bodies need more leucine to turn that key than we did when we were younger. This is why you can eat a protein bar and still not get the benefit you expect if it doesn't have enough of this ignition key. So, where do we find it? Leucine is found in high amounts in dairy products, like cottage cheese and yogurt. It is found in eggs, fish, and poultry. It is less common in plant sources, although it is there if you look for it. If you are someone who struggles with appetite in the morning, focusing on these high leucine foods can give you more bang for your buck. For example, a small bowl of cottage cheese has a very high ignition value compared to a large bowl of beans. Both are healthy, but for muscle preservation, the cottage cheese is sending a louder signal. This is very helpful to know if you are someone who doesn't like to eat a large volume of food. You don't have to stuff yourself. You just have to choose the foods that carry the key. Next time you are at the grocery store, perhaps walking down the dairy aisle on a Tuesday morning, look at the labels. You aren't just buying yogurt. You are buying the starter key for your strength. The texture trap and digestion. Before we move on, there is an important detail here that connects our dental health to our muscle health. It is something we rarely discuss. As we age, our teeth can become more sensitive. Maybe you have a bridge or dentures, or just a tooth that acts up when you chew something tough. Without even realizing it, many seniors start to drift away from high-quality proteins like steak, pork chops, or chewy chicken breasts because they are simply difficult or uncomfortable to eat. We subconsciously drift towards softer foods, mashed potatoes, soft breads, noodles, soups. While these foods are comforting and easy on the teeth, they are often almost entirely carbohydrates. We fall into what nutritionists call the tea and toast or soup and cracker trap, not because we don't want protein, but because protein is hard to chew. If this sounds familiar, know that you are not alone, and there are ways around it. We don't have to give up on meat or firm proteins. We just have to change how we prepare them. Think about using a slow cooker. A piece of beef that has been stewed for 8 hours falls apart with a fork. It requires almost no chewing, yet it delivers all the amino acids your body needs. Ground meats are another wonderful option. Turkey chili, shepherd's pie, or meatloaf are classic comfort foods that are easy on the teeth but high in power. And don't forget the power of liquid nutrition. A smoothie made with whey protein or a high-quality nutritional drink can be a lifeline on days when your teeth are sore or your jaw is tired. You are not cheating by drinking your protein. You are being strategic. You are making sure the factory gets its materials regardless of how your teeth feel that day. This spread strategy. Another part of this story often gets overlooked, and that is the timing of your dinner. In many American households, dinner is the main event. We might have a light breakfast and lunch, and then sit down to a large roast, or a big piece of chicken, or a hearty stew at 6 p.m. We might consume 50 or 60 grams of protein in that one meal. You might think, well, that makes up for the light breakfast, right? Unfortunately, the aging body doesn't work like a bank account. You can't deposit all the money at the end of the day and expect it to cover the expenses from the morning. Remember our factory? It has a limit on how much it can process at one time. If you flood the system with 60 grams of protein at dinner, your body might use 30 grams of it for muscle repair, but the rest? The rest is converted into energy or stored as fat. It goes to waste in terms of muscle building. The most effective strategy for seniors is what we call the spread strategy. Instead of one mountain of protein at night, we want 3 smaller hills throughout the day. We want 25 or 30 grams at breakfast, 25 or 30 at lunch, and 25 or 30 at dinner. This keeps the repair machinery running all day long. It's like keeping a fire burning by adding a log every few hours, rather than throwing the whole wood pile on at once and watching it burn out. Practically, this might mean taking some of that chicken from dinner and saving it for lunch the next day over a salad. It might mean having a smaller portion of meat at dinner, but having a Greek yogurt for a snack in the afternoon. It is about redistribution, not necessarily eating more calories. This helps your energy levels remain steady, preventing that mid-afternoon slump where you feel like you need a nap just to get through the day. The plant-based senior. I know many of you watching are trying to eat more plant-based foods for your heart or your digestion, and that is a wonderful goal. Beans, lentils, quinoa, and nuts are packed with fiber and nutrients that fight inflammation. However, if you are relying solely on plants for your protein, there is a little extra math involved for the senior body. Plant proteins are often incomplete or less dense in those essential amino acids we talked about earlier. To get the same muscle signal from black beans that you would get from a piece of salmon, you generally have to eat a much larger volume of beans. For a senior with a smaller appetite or slower digestion, eating 3 cups of beans might feel impossible or uncomfortable. If you love your plant-based meals, simply be aware of food combining. Combining rice and beans or peanut butter and whole wheat toast helps create a complete protein profile. But even then, consider being open to a little help. Adding a plant-based protein powder, like pea protein, to a smoothie can help you hit your numbers without having to eat excessive amounts of fiber that might upset your stomach. It is about finding the balance between heart health and muscle preservation. You don't have to choose one or the other. You just have to plan a little more carefully. The hydration connection. Now, before we move on, we have to talk about water again, but in a different context. When you start eating slightly more protein or spacing it out differently, your body needs water to process it. Protein metabolism creates byproducts that your kidneys filter out. This is a normal, healthy process. However, if you are dehydrated, and many of us over 60 are chronically a little dehydrated, your kidneys have to work harder to do this job. There is a myth that floats around that eating protein is bad for your kidneys. For the vast majority of seniors with healthy kidney function, this is simply not true. Your kidneys are designed to handle protein, but they do need water to flush the system. So, as you add that extra egg at breakfast or that yogurt at lunch, make sure you are also adding a glass of water. Think of the water as the conveyor belt that moves the waste out of the factory. If the belt stops, the trash piles up. A good rule of thumb is to have a small glass of water with every protein-rich meal or snack. It doesn't have to be a giant bottle. Just a steady 8-ounce glass helps your kidneys do their job efficiently and keeps your energy high. Of course, if you have existing kidney disease diagnosed by a doctor, always follow their specific limits on protein. But for the general healthy senior, protein plus water is the winning combination. The bedtime opportunity. There is one final secret weapon in the fight against muscle loss, and it happens while you sleep. We often think of eating before bed as a bad habit, something that leads to weight gain. And while eating a bag of chips or a bowl of ice cream before bed isn't great, a small, protein-rich snack can actually be medicinal. When you sleep, you are fasting for 8 to 10 hours. During this long stretch, your body runs out of amino acids and may start nibbling on your muscle tissue again. Research suggests that consuming a specific type of protein called casein before bed can form a gel in your stomach and release amino acids slowly throughout the night, like a time-release capsule. Where do we find casein? It is the main protein in milk. So, a small bowl of cottage cheese, or a glass of warm milk, or a little bit of plain yogurt about 30 minutes before sleep can protect your muscles all night long. It doesn't have to be a meal, just a few spoonfuls. Many seniors report that this small ritual not only helps them feel stronger, but actually helps them sleep better, as hunger pangs don't wake them up in the middle of the night. It is a gentle, comforting way to end the day, knowing you are doing work for your body even while you dream. Changing how we eat after 60 isn't about dieting or restriction. It is about respect. It is about respecting that your body has worked hard for you for decades, and its needs have evolved. It is asking for a little more help, a louder signal, and a better schedule. By moving your protein to the morning, choosing high-quality ingredients, and listening to your body's need for hydration, you can slow down that silent loss and keep your independence for years to come. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Which of these changes seems the most doable for you? Is it changing your breakfast? Or perhaps trying the bedtime snack? Or maybe you have a favorite high-protein recipe that is easy to chew and digest. Please share it with the community. Your tips help everyone else reading. And if you found this guidance helpful and want more practical, gentle tips for navigating daily life in your 60s and beyond, consider subscribing to the channel. We are here to walk this path together. Thank you for watching, and here is to your strength.